Yo, this your boy, Check It with Rex, man. Coming to you live where we discuss any and everything from navigating through life, overcoming challenges, love, following your dreams, building for the future, discussing what-if scenarios, right? And a little bit of fictional elements to it, you feel me? And then relating media, right? The media we consume to our life as a society. So I'm your host, Rex, also known as T-Rex. And I want to just jump straight into it. I want to start off with my first segment of the podcast. It's the burning question of the day. What's the burning question of the day? So this is where I ask you as the audience to really think about the question and relate it to your life. So this is a moment where you take time to reflect, because this is a podcast of peace, interaction, and collectiveness, where we reflect, we don't deflect, and we inflate, but we don't deflate. You feel me? So the burning question of the day is, how do you all deal with stress and anxiety? How is your mental health? And what are some ways you feed your mental with positive supplements and messaging? Your mind is an organ, but similar to a muscle, right? So think of it this way. Whenever you drink milk, they say that it builds the bones within your body. Similar to that, feeding your mental health with healthy messaging allows you to build and strengthen your brain or cognitive health. The more you read, the more knowledge you absorb, the more you grow emotionally and mentally. So think about that as you take time to reflect. So now that I've given y'all a little bit of time to reflect, I want to know, what are some ways y'all deal with stress and anxiety, right? It could be things like taking a walk, playing a video game, spending time with your family, your pet, reading a book. I don't know, or just going outside, feeling the breeze. So I just want to know, let me know in the comments. So before we jump into my favorite segment of the podcast, I want to add my 2 cents to what I like to call the bank of collective reflection. And this is where I just give my story and context to the question, right? It's only fair since I asked you all. So, how do I deal with stress and anxiety? So, a couple ways I personally deal with anxiety and stress is first by taking small bits of time throughout my day to just do things I enjoy. I even take breaks even if I have a few tasks to do throughout the day. So, you want to give your brain time to reset. So one of the things that I do that I personally enjoy, right, when I'm not dealing with life, like being stressed with work, bills, and then just life sometimes throws curveballs at you. So you got to reset. And one of the ways I do this is creation. I love being creative, taking time out of my day to create my films, my short stories, creating content for my podcast. Right now, I'm working on a series with my team called Burning Questions. I created this a while ago, and I finally have a team that kind of wanting to help out, with the writing of the season 1, and we're about to produce it in late July. So I'm working on that. I'm also working on this podcast. I did this on a whim. And then in addition, I'm having a TikTok page where I create short stories. So again, creation, that's my way to reset, right? My way to feel relaxed and escape. I'll play video games. Like on the days I'm off, I work Thursday through Sunday, so my schedule's a little bit weird. But I take a little bit of time out of the day, like probably later in the evening, and I'll play a video game for an hour or two just to reset, right? Just to do things I enjoy where I'm not having to deal with stress. These are just a few ways that I deal with stress. So that's kind of a little bit of my story. Okay, let's get back into the next segment, also known as my favorite segment, called Lucid Madness. This is where we'll relate our topic of dealing with stress and anxiety to what-if scenarios. So I want to ask y'all, what if we lived in a society where we never ran out of time? What if we were able to explore every passion, desire, dream that we had without ever having to worry about how much time we have? I hear a lot about people feeling like they're running out of time, which causes a lot of stress and anxiety, right? What if I told you that we can? We can. We can explore every passion, desire, and dream. Yes, we don't have all the time in the world, but my advice to you is to use your time wisely. Follow your dreams, follow your passions. Surround yourself with positive people that will support you in your dreams, right? Always dream big. Never limit yourself. Every dream is different for everyone, right? We all have different dreams. We all have different desires. We all have different passions. But what makes us unique is how we go and achieve them. And so I'm telling you all today to achieve your dreams, achieve your goals, your desires, no matter what situation or circumstance you're in, right? Because at the end of the day, you want to live where you have no regrets. And now we enter the final segment, or what I like to call the final realm of the Check It with Rex podcast world. So this is called concrete thinking. Now that we've taken the time to reflect, right, this is where we talk about what we've learned. And I call this concrete thinking. This segment is called concrete thinking. What are some ways we can not only overcome stress and anxiety, right? But also when those stressors do come up, how do we navigate them? How do we pivot and make things better for ourselves as a society? So I want you all to think about that as I end the podcast. Thank you for listening. I'm your host, Rex. And I just want to say, have a blessed day. Go out, live free, live your life, but live it in a holy way.